Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Jason, and this is the tale of why I quit the novel Devolution by Max Brooks. I know I've done a couple of these videos before, but I'd like to put a disclaimer here that my intention is not to denigrate, criticize, or otherwise shit on any writer out there or their books. Writing is hard. I'm a writer. I completely understand that. However, these videos are designed to explain why, from a storytelling standpoint, and perhaps help you understand why you don't like something, but more than anything, to let you know that it's okay to quit a novel. So with that said, let's move on. Now, of course, I read World War Z by Max Brooks. I absolutely loved it way back in 2006. Devolution is his follow-up novel many years later, so needless to say, I was extremely excited to pick up the book. World War Z, to me, was a completely unexpected novel. I didn't think I was going to like it in the least, just from the mere setup, being that it's told from the perspective of a journalist. The zombie war has ended, and this man is making the rounds and talking to the survivors and learning of their stories. It turned out to be a very character-driven, very emotional, very highly effective piece of writing, and one that remains to be one of my all-time favorites. So why did I quit Devolution? Well, if you're new here, I have a rule called the 30% rule, that if a novel does not captivate me by the 30% mark on my Kindle, then I quit it. I feel like if it hasn't captured me by that, then it has failed. And I feel like it's a very generous amount. I mean, really the first page, the first chapter should pull you in and keep you there all the way until you finish. And fun fact, I quit Devolution at the 50% mark. So you may be asking yourself, why didn't you just finish it? You were almost there. Well, I figured I would cut my losses, and here is why. So the story is very similar in execution to World War Z. We have a journalist piecing together a journal of a woman named Kate Holland who went to go stay in this eco-friendly collection of houses, I guess, called Green Loop in Washington. And conveniently, her therapist has told her to keep a record of her experiences to cope with her issues she's having, particularly with her husband, Dan, who she's there with as well. And so due to this convenience, this is how we experience the story for the most part, through these journal entries, through a single perspective. However, there are other snippets of interviews peppered throughout that help add color and information and other details to the folklore and the setting itself. So this isn't a spoiler, but Mount Rainier erupts. And all these people who are in Green Loop, there's only a handful of them. They're a very colorful cast of characters, so I will give Max Brooks that. They are trapped there. There is only one way in and one way out. There's mudslides and all kinds of crazy things. Obviously, they're running out of food, out of water. You'd think it would be a harrowing experience. But therein lies my problem. We have a handful of characters, and they're very distinct, but that's pretty much where it ends. They don't offer an interesting dynamic to the story or the interactions therein. And I'm all about a slow build in horror. I'm all about the impending dread, but that dread never happened. 50% into the novel I got, and it never happened. There were moments of things that were hinting at something that was going to happen. Hopefully. I mean, clearly it did, because these are the journal entries of someone who did not survive. But it was never creepy in the slightest. There was never any great use of tension or suspense. And that's fine in the beginning, initially, because that's normally how you begin a novel. You have a hook scene. You have a scene that's quote unquote the day in the life of the characters. However, this day in the life almost lasts for the entire 50% of the book. Sure, the volcano erupts and we have these people trapped in this little area, and they're running out of food and water, but that's pretty much where it ends. And what I was really hoping for here is Max Brooks to bring me the magic he created in the first novel he wrote, World War Z. Make me care about these characters, feel their plight, feel their struggle, feel their loss, all of the above, but it never happened. Now, I know a good rule of thumb for a character to empathize with somebody is to create a past trauma. That is a highly effective way to do it. There is somewhat of a past trauma here. We do know that Kate is having issues with her husband, Dan, but that's pretty much where it ends. And the rest of the characters all have their own little idiosyncrasies, but nothing for me to latch on to emotionally. And I think it's really unfortunate, because this could have been something really special. Bigfoot may seem a little bit played out, but it's something that I really haven't thought about since I was a kid, seeing those, unsolved mysteries and X-Files and things like that. And so I thought it would be a fun ride, a creepy ride, something that would take me back to my roots and when I discovered horror. But unfortunately, it wasn't there. And a lot of people harped on the book saying, oh, well, it's not any good because we know what happened to the character. It's like, well, that's a terrible argument because it's about the journey, not the destination. And clearly World War Z was written in the same fashion. So what was missing? Why was World War Z so great and why was this one not so great? Well, I think it has to do with character. We really never care very much about Kate. We really never care much about any of the characters. Whereas in World War Z, we do. We feel all of the traumatic events these characters went through. And I know the characters in this novel eventually get there. It's a massacre, but I think it is inexcusable to make me wait to 50% or more into the novel to get the ball rolling in the narrative. The writing is fine, it's sharp, it's clear. I feel like sometimes it's a little bit too clever for its own good, if that makes sense. It's almost as if it made the journaling feel a little bit inauthentic. And I think that's one of the challenges when you do a first-person account of something, specifically when it's a written journal, because you want it to feel authentic. You want it to feel like someone actually wrote this journal. And I noticed a lot of instances where you could see Max Brooks kind of flashing his writerly skills on the page, and it didn't feel so much as if Kate Holland, our narrator, was telling the story rather than Max Brooks. So unfortunately, this one for me just went sour. I couldn't finish it. I made it halfway. It's a short novel. However, I didn't feel like it was worth my time to continue. So let me know what you think. Did you read the novel? Did you like it? Was it worth waiting through 50% of not a lot of stuff? Or were you like me? Did you quit as well? And that's okay, because there are far too many books we will never get to read in this life. So only stick with the good ones. All right, that's it for me. If you'd like to see me create and not critique, please check out my series Worth 1,000 Words, where I write a 1,000 word short story inspired by a piece of artwork on the spot every week. If you'd like to support the channel, give me a like if you like the video, subscribe if you like story-related content. Check out my longer form novels in the description below. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.